Well guys, y'all have heard me refer to my old hotshot truck, and some of y'all have been with the channel since the beginning, might have seen her around a little bit, but this is her with a little bit of aerodynamic improvement. We've got the we use this new glass cleaner. It really clean. You can see right, it just almost like there's nothing there. We used it on the side windows here too. So long story short, 2001 F450, 400 plus thousand miles as a hotshot truck, and she got into a little accident, and now we're gonna try and unaccident her. So she's already got a dented up roof because a tree fell across her. I'll see if I have a photo handy in the computer that we can show you. But basically they're working on the side of some road construction, and trying to drive around the road construction or something, I don't remember, but they had to swerve for some kind of to avoid something, and it went off the very elevated piece of cement to the grade of the dirt, and she was loaded kind of top heavy, and she rolled over one time. So this project, what we're going to do is we got a black cab. We're gonna try our hand at pulling this off and basically scrapping this cab and swapping it for another one. We got a 100-gallon fuel tank on her, plumbed into the truck, so you can basically open a valve and roll about 1,100 miles. So the truck's got good bones and all that. It just, the headache rack must have kept it all from coming up. The funny thing is, when she did roll, the whole back window popped out in one piece. You can see her back there on the seat. So we're gonna combine some stuff that we have. We got to get this glass out of here and all that stuff. So this morning is going to be a little cleanup. We're going to put y'all on time lapse, and we're going to get this glass out of here and vacuum up some of this and make a good work area, and see what our plan of attack is from there. I'm not really sure. All right, we'll come back to y'all. Alright guys, with the shade and the soot, you're not going to be able to see exactly what's what. We got a radiator and a fan shroud out. Alternator bracket and power steering pulled and laid to the side, CAC plumbing. front grounds on both sides of the harmonic balancer, frame grounds from body to frame, so that doesn't hold us up. AC is laying over here, heater hoses are pulled, the background over here in the corner is pulled, and we are getting ready to deal with the shaft, the steering shaft, slip joint or whatever that is. So we're just kind of going on that. We got in over here this morning, pulling the steering column. You can see the shaft down there. We got fuse box and stuff already pulled out. So we're just stripping everything little by little, getting all of this cab hardware out. Headliner, we got the roof lights out. How that rolled over and didn't even bust one roof light is a miracle. So anywho, we just the only other thing I think we got left to do, besides double checking some grounds and probably the block heater is going to be needing to be unplugged. I'm sure there's a couple other little things we're missing, and once we get that done, I think we're going to be seeing if the Loctite on the body mounts will let us pull them easy, or if we're gonna have to fight them. We might have to get a induction heater and melt off that Loctite, but we'll see how that's going. I don't know who put a big gorilla handprint on my door right here. Oh, I hear a monkey. So anyhow, we got, we're piling up all the stuff on the back, Ziploc bagging and bagging and tagging everything. So anyway, that's not a whole lot more to show. We're just trying to get everything out that we can, and we're trying not to mess with this busted windshield right here, because it is a mess. And as soon as we start flipping it, we already vacuumed the truck once or twice, so we're gonna possibly just try and lift the cab clean off, and then once we get the cab off and there's no under the hood to worry about, we'll just flip this glass forward and try and get our dash out. But anyway, we're trying not to have to fool with that glass too much any more than we got to.
All right, YouTube. Well, I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. No, it ain't that bad, but it is a lot. We got the floor liner out to where you can get a good look at our cab mounts. We got one in the front, middle, and rear on each side. And I do believe we're gonna have one up front by the nose here on top of the frame. It's a total of 8. And we're gonna get the dash out of here, just about everything. And then we shall fight them cab bolts. Hopefully they ain't too bad. But we'll pull it up here on the lift and see what she does.
All right, guys, we got a hump to jump over underneath the lift, so we got the truck on autopilot here. Tristan may not have gotten the big enough come along. Let's see. 11,500 pounds of 450. And how much you weigh?
$1.15.
$1.15 wet. We're gonna, why don't y'all send us some quarters and we'll put them in his pocket. See if we can get a little more ass. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Look like $1.15 goes into 11,000 one time.
Now watch me try to stop the damn thing.
Yeah, that might be. we might have to come back to our regular programming and after the Bambulance leaves. All right, guys. So where we at now is we pulled all the interior, blah da da. We got the cab bolts you can see down there. The 6 excuse me, the 6 in the cab, and there's one here, one right here on each side of the core support little cab bushing. So We've gone on to unhook the shift cable from the transmission. So basically we went through and slid around on there and found everything that was going from the cab to the frame, or the cab to the motor and transmission, and separated it. And what we're going to get ready to do here in a minute is we're going to get our lift underneath the truck cab and just start slowly picking up on the cab and checking to see what we missed. We got our power steering lines undone to the power steering cooler at the bottom. We got our transmission cooler lines, which are back in here, undone on the inside of the wall. And I'm sure we're gonna find 27 other things that we missed. But anyway, we're gonna get the lift set up and we'll get back to y'all. All right, guys. Well, we got what we think is everything off. We got the lift sitting on the pinch wells, and we're getting ready to go up. And we were gonna put it on time lapse, but Tristan said no, we're gonna leave it on real time. So we are not responsible for any colorful language or thick application thereof in the next few minutes. Well, we're gonna see if we can get this cab up. It's our first time, so we shall see. All right, let's get it. All right, sir, let's see. I'm just gonna go up like 4 inches and, or I'm just gonna go up a little bit. Let's see if it starts separating.
And just bump it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go like a couple inches at a time.
Alright. Take the weight off the front end.
Oh, I think she's getting a little wiggle now. I think I saw it kind of. You ready? Watch your bolt down there. Ready?
So far, so good. Let me check this side.
Power steering and all that.
Yeah.
Nothing pulling.
Might have to come free of this. They got a little clip for the hose.
Yeah, okay. Do we need a drip pan over here?
Yeah.
Where's our drip pan disappeared?
I put it draining over here by the truck. Yeah, I got a little clip that's mounted to the frame that's holding the hose.
Now you know, I'm dropping this down because you know what's getting ready to happen with me.
Sorry.
And it won't even be on film for them to cuss at me when I do a half gainer endo into the rocks.
Stick the landing.
Oh, I'll stick the landing. You need a winch truck to get my butt out the ground.
That's alright. Where did my cat's paw go?
Hey,
Hey.
it's 4:30.
Yes, sir. I'll
You
leave
want
around.
to keep going up, or you?
Yeah, I'll leave around 5:15.
Okay.
That'll work for you.
All right. You ready? You still clipping?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just want to be listening for anything getting in a bind, pulling or whatever.
Stay with the truck.
All right. And is the drip pan good enough? Okay, are you staying right there for a minute while I bump or what?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm gonna bump a couple more inches. You ready?
Yes, sir. Okay, what you got? It's all free.
Everything to the back is looking good.
Yeah, I'll have to go back there and look.
I'll have to get on the creeper and do a little creeping.
What is this shit right here?
This is what?
Brake lines?
No. Man, right there.
The brake lines go to the masters. To the ABS.
That's the ABS. Yep. That's gonna have to be, alright, let me come down. Watch your lines, just tell me, I'll have to come all the way down.
It's not in a bind.
Huh?
It's not in a bind.
But it will be, because You know, we forgot to do. We got to do brake lines. Well, brake lines go to the brakes. Where the brakes at? All right. We're gonna pop this brake line off on both sides. We forgot about, and we'll get back to y'all. All right, guys, let me get you in here. So these 3 lines down here, right by the intercooler tube, are going to, the fat one is going to the back. 2 skinny ones are fronts. So that's the ones with the big jam nuts right here. And we're gonna pop those off. These 2 are going right up here to the master cylinder. That's gonna stay with the cab. So we're gonna pop those off and see what's going on there. Again, it's kind of, you know, when it's your first time doing it, you gotta get, you know, you gotta get your legs under you. I'm getting so tired in the afternoon I can't even think straight. All right, let me put this camera back on the tripod. We'll get that to you, and we'll get back to you in a minute. All right, kids, we got our ABS lines undone. Tristan's watching those and lubricating his tools at the same time. And we had a body ground underneath the passenger's feet that would tie to the frame. Your weapon, sir. That's all good. All right. Are we going up?
Yes, sir. You go ahead with it. I'm watching.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna just go in little increments.
All right. Looking good.
All right. Going up again.
Right.
Another 6 inches. You ready?
Yes, sir.
I heard the lift locks and it scared me.
Looking good.
This is when the lift pays for itself right here.
All the way.
Okay. Everything looking copacetic?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're free, boss.
I don't see nothing. All right.
I'll let you know if I'm.
I'm gonna go. Well, I'm just gonna go another 6.
All right. All right.
Those little brake lines working their way through.
Yeah, I got them free. They out the way. Oh yeah, we freed the frame.
Okay. Going up. You ready?
Yes, sir. What you got?
Huh?
I put that parking brake cable back on. We just pop it back loose.
Okay. Yeah, just to keep it from dragging.
Yeah, but we good now.
Okay. We're going back up some more.
Yes, sir. Good. Good right ahead. Oh yeah, we go over.
All right. You want me to just keep going? You kind of.
Yes, sir. I'll peruse.
I'll if we need to stop.
Okay, well. Hold on, I forgot my flashlight up there.
Yeah. Plug it in tomorrow.
Yeah. That's the first time.
Well, guys, that's our first time doing a cab lift, and that's how you get a peek under the dress right there.
Nothing more than that.
We're gonna be doing. we're gonna. That's too easy a setup. I'm gonna leave that one alone. So, let me get this off of the stand here. All right, so on this 7.3, this one has the quadruple blackout package. So, you know, it's gonna have a black truck. We ain't gonna have black interior, but we got enough black on everything else to to make up for it. Evidently they had a turbo leak somewhere, and we're gonna have to
We got the cap.
we're gonna have to track that down. But when you got it up, guys, you know, you want to check your big Allen screws here and here. There's actually 4 of them, but the 2 back here are right by these up pipes, so they really get hot. I know y'all can't see too good at the lighting in with the damn, but I'm seeing soot all over this, so this may be leaking, or it could be coming from here. We got soot coming on both up pipes, so we'll have to do new donuts here. So make sure if you get the cab up like this that you take your time and go through and do anything you think you need to do while this thing is up in the air. And also, we were talking about like oil pan gaskets. I got power steering fluid leaking, but once we clean this, we very well may do an oil pan gasket before we go back in and get everything buttoned up while we can get to it. So, but yeah, that's the first cab lift on the 2 post, and it's looking pretty good. All right, well, I think our next plan is going to be to latch onto this with the winch truck, drag it out of here, and spray this down with some degreaser. We're going to tape up our electricals now. You know, if y'all are cleaning this, like down here, you can, if you're not around electrical, you can cut loose with it a little bit with the pressure washer. But up here, you just want a garden hose, not even really with a nozzle or a really weak stream, so that way you're not blasting it into any of the plugs. And if you have the time, you can always break them apart and dry them out, but you know, you want to stay away from your sensors and all of that with the pressure washer. But we're going to degrease and rinse and wash, and probably rinse, wash, and repeat a couple of times.
Okay guys, basically we're starting over with this cab, but the one big perk of this particular cab is it's already halfway there, or more than halfway there. It's completely been gutted, other than, you know, the addition of other than the master cylinder and air box over there ain't much in this cab. So we're gonna go ahead and get a clean start with this, and we thought we'd show you everything you need to do, sort of a little checklist if you will, when pulling a cab. I think this will make a good example here because it's so bare bones.
Alright guys, we're putting a little checklist together for pulling these cabs. Keep in mind that you got 5 grounds to contend with. So number 1, and Tristan will get you a snapshot of that, there's a ground underneath the floorboard of the passenger side tying the cab to the frame. It's a little braided ground, I believe. And then we have a braided ground here that goes to the top of the engine. Then in the center, you're going to have your 2 main grounds from the batteries going to the left and right side of the harmonic balancer, and that makes 4 grounds so far. And then usually on the 7.3s, in this area right here below the AC, there's going to be like an 8-gauge jumper that jumps from the ground cable location on the passenger side of the harmonic balancer to the frame. So that would be your 5 grounds. You can look down in here. You're going to have to pull off your shift cable, which is on the ground right there. That'll pop off of your neutral box on the transmission, and you're going to have to undo the park brake, which is laying down there. Tristan can show you a little bit more about that later. And then
Power steering line.
you're gonna have both power steering lines going to the cooler. These 4, zoom in right here. These 4 that bolt to the inner fender, that's all your fuel pump, speed in the back, transmission and rear end wiring and trailer wiring. That's all running in the frame, so you'll have to unplug those 4. And also trans cooler lines, which are these 2 here. There's some straight nipples coming from the back that dog out right here, and your trans cooler lines. So trans cooler lines, look in the front right here, the power steering cooler right here, we got these two lines off, that disconnects that, and so your AC stuff can lay on this fender, and your alternator and power steering stuff can lay on that fender. And that's pretty much it. We're going to double check this. We're kind of building this checklist as we go, and maybe we'll type one up just to have it in the computer that we can print out when we got to do a cab swap as a check off list. And if we do that, I'll put that in the video.
Alright guys, so inside the cab, normally your steering wheel linkage would hook up to the back of this thing, but you'd loosen off on this bolt and all of this should pop forward through this grommet here, and it might need a little persuasion, but it should go all the way through the firewall. Alright guys, we got one frame to chassis ground right behind the first cab mount here on the passenger side, as well as your two ABS sensor pigtails here, one on each side. So once you disconnect the steering from behind the steering wheel and push it through the firewall, we can undo the one power steering line going from the top to the pump here, the one from the chassis to the cooler. The cooler can stay with the chassis. So we'll just undo this. Okay, as well as the AC lines, you're gonna have the two heater hoses that'll plug in the back of the firewall here. You can just unplug them from the engine, lay them aside as well. Under the hood, you're gonna have two body mounts in the very front. Those will be at 18mm, and then on a crew cab you will have 6 more in the cab, 3 on each side. You'll have a big grommet here. I'm not too sure on the head sizes, but under this grommet here, right under the front floorboards here next to the kick panel, we got 2 more body mounts on each side. You'll have one under this big grommet, as well as one exposed here on the hump. As well as you're gonna have to disconnect your parking brake. I'll show you where on the other chassis where you can undo that. I'll go ahead and save y'all the trouble. The passenger side is at 21, while the driver side, the cab mount bolts are at 24. For whatever reason.
We're going to show you where the cab bolts are and buzz them off. P.S. Watch your ears, and you got to keep track of these because these are different from driver side to passenger side. The passenger sides don't have tapers on them, cone type tapers, but the driver sides do, so just pay attention and label them. Make sure they go back straight. Oh, and watch your ears, it might get loud with the impact. A little late than usual. But if you look at the bolts Tristan's got, they're just pretty much straight. They don't have a taper on them. So kind of hold them up where we can see. And they're a little warm from the So that's how that looks. So we're gonna show you how these look on this side in a minute.
This one's a 20.
All right. Yeah, y'all remember that the sizes change. You know, I don't understand what that is, why that is, but the socket sizes change from driver's to passenger side too. So we're gonna pop out our little grommet right here. Make sure you save those. Alright, and then will be 3 cab bolts on each side and then 2 front core support bolts. Watch your ears. And you can see the fat shank on that one and the taper. Lift it up again. Just a little bit. Alright. Okay. So, and then there's a little taper here, and then it changes. I think all 3 of these are different. Go back in if it's stopped moving. Not all. You don't have to all. Run it a few rounds in. Is it stuck?
Yeah.
We'll go back and forth with it. Alright, come back to it. Let it cool off. They use some Hellacious Loctite on these things. I mean, you'll notice that more on the bed bolts, but you don't want to get too crazy. So if you see them, if your socket is rotating, you're good. If your socket pauses, you need to back it out a little bit, because you'll strip something or break something, or pull a little welded nut out the bottom. So we're gonna put a little Love spray on this one and see if we can get him out. Alright, so we sprayed some Freol in there, and we got it in that little neutral area where it's getting stuck each way. So we're gonna keep a little Freol and let it work in there, and we may come back to this in a little while. And once that Freol kind of gets down in those threads, then we can thing we don't want to do is break the nut off in the body. Okay, just yeah, let some Freol soak on it for a little bit.
Yeah.
I do it, then I'll
Alright, guys. This is the only stuck one we've encountered. We just got a set of vice grips around the polyurethane mount there. Go ahead with it, boss.
Right here.
Let's see what it does. Yup, you got it. Yep, we had a stubborn one on each cab. But that did the trick. I was just squeezing the rubber together, really. So, came off a lot easier than the late model, I can tell you. Okay guys, as well as you're gonna wanna disconnect your parking brake from the cab, easiest way to do that is this little disconnect here. Pull you some slack, and then see if you get this out sideways, and then this should pull out of the frame just like so. As well as you're gonna have a transmission line coming down from the transmission. I think it might come through a port up here. You have to disconnect that plastic clip. I'll go show you all on another chassis here. Okay, this is our passenger side frame ground. What else I want to show y'all? Oh yes. No. Also have a ground on the frame here, as well as a ground on the side of the engine block on that side. And right up in here on this side, it's a big bolt. As you can see, your front cab bushings, as well as ABS. Your brake lines are gonna have to be disconnected from your ABS module on the cab side, as well as your cooler lines, radiator, intercooler, all of whatnot. As far as on the engine side, you have to disconnect your starter solenoid, map sensor tubing, your 42-pin wiring connector, from your alternator, your anything going from the cab to the bed. Don't forget about that. Under the hood of the donor truck, we can see where the transmission control comes out of the cab. That'll have to be disconnected from the transmission. I think we got a shot of this already now.
We ready to get high?
You go far, bro.
Alright, going up.
Alright, y'all, we got all the back plumbing on the engine. Back nice, clean, sealed, ready to go. So we're gonna pull it out for one last time and then come in one last time straight and try to set the cab down on there straight as we can. So we'll bring y'all along for the next procedure here.
Alright guys, the wind is horrible today, so I'm gonna be brief. So Tristan got our up pipes redone, new donuts right here. We went back with this instead of the up pipes, just simple and quicker, getting it back together this way for this project. Got our turbo on with new seals, upper and lower on the pedestal. Did a little weld repair right here for the dipstick tube. So we're pretty much done with underneath of the truck. Got to get a little shock issue here going. But anyway, we're going to be lowering her down in a little bit. We got her stationed underneath the cab, and we used the winch truck to scoot the back end over and line it up, and a floor jack on the front. So we're pretty much in line to have the cab come down. I'm going to try and get this shock done, and then we'll drop that cab on there and see what the old girl looks like. Alright guys, so what we got so far is we stripped, of course we already moved the air conditioner stuff. We started on this end. We undid our headlights, ran them back through there, pulled the squirter jug and plug and tube for the squirter jug on the black truck. Robbed the air box. We took the wiring harness all the way across. We unbolted the fuse box, dropped it down. We already had all of this unplugged from the cab when we lifted the cab. So we came over here. The ABS had a crazy plug. We just left it plugged in and moved it as one and got the headlights out. So what we did is we started right here with mounting the ABS and its wiring underneath and going ahead and hooking the brake lines. Running the wire along in here, mounted our fuse box. Now Tristan's putting an extra layer of tape all the way across the harness that sits on the cowl. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to plug all of these in. And the big trick to these is pay close attention to where everything mounts. In other words, you gotta push a Christmas tree push pin, know where that mounts. Know where this ground went. Leave your ground screws sticking out so they'll remind you where they go, and always clean them before you put them on. But if you anchor this where it goes, in other words, you know, all of this is exactly where it went, then for example, this push pin right here is going to go there. Well, once that's there, you can see that your map sensor is just got enough wire to reach it. And we always fuss about all the different connectors they have. There's only a few of them that are duplicated on the truck. So if you anchor the harness in the right locations, then whatever it'll reach is generally what it's going to be needing to reach. So we're going to be working on putting this harness in. And let me come over here. So we're gonna be, in a little while, we're gonna be knocking out the 3 master plugs, I call them. There's a inner and outer bezel or flange, or whatever you want to call them, kind of mounts them. We're gonna knock those into the cab. We're also gonna save our heater hoses. We have one of these cold water diverter valves on there, so we may or may not move that, but we'll save them for that black truck or another project. And then in here, what I'm going to be working on, I'm just going to put y'all on fast forward, is we're getting all of the wiring out of the doors. It's going to be taped up right here, so you're going to have to untape it and fish it through the boot, and then get it out in here. The dash has 8 screws, 2 here, 2 on the far side, 3 across the top under some little cowls, and there's one buried up under here. I'll find it and show it to y'all in a little while. So we're going to take this whole dash out and probably clean it up a little bit and then put it in the black truck, and then we can take the wiring that we got going on under the hood and get that going. But we still have wires running in the, come on screen, we still have wires running in the back doors here and here. So we're going, all of that needs to be fished out, unless you're going to cut them in the doors and splice them. That's up to y'all. But other than that, fish them out and lay them all out on the floor. That way when you come out with the dash, all this wiring comes with you. All right, let me swap batteries and put y'all on time lapse and give y'all something to listen to. Okay, so we got a few of these door wires, and they turn so hard right here in the behind the brake pedal and the emergency brake and all that. I'm gonna leave some slack and we're gonna fish them out. So on the dashes, you got 8 screws that pull them out. You're gonna have 2 green ones here. There's gonna be 2 green ones on the in the door jamb on the other side, except they're further apart on that side. I'll go over there and show you. You've got these right here. There's 3 of these going across. 2 8 mils and a 7 mil, and you're undoing the ones that go toward the front of the truck. It's confusing on this truck because we got no windshield, but if you're doing it with a glass in, you can't miss them because that's the only ones you'll be able to get to. And let me go on the other side and show you. Alright guys, I'll go through this again. We shot it and it had a little music playing in the background, and YouTube's gonna have a heart attack. So, dash bolts, 7 mil, 8 mil, 8 mil along the front, 10 and 10 for the 2 greens. Again, this is all your inertia switch. So if you ever have a wreck or something and you're having trouble getting the truck started and the fuel pump won't kick on, this is a reset button right inside the kick panel. I got all that loose because that's all going to come with us. And let me get my light ready here, and I'll show y'all. Oh, come on, light. There's right next to the air box is a 11 mil right there in this little, I don't know, the one with the panty hook on it or whatever the hell that stupid little hook is that nobody seems to be able to figure out why Ford even put that there. So that's 1 2 3 4 5 6. So we'll go to the other side and I'll show you 7 8. All right, and that is 7 and 8. Again, I've got everything but 2 screws pulled. So we still have these side ones we're going to fish in. Once we set the dash down on the floor, we'll get some more room. It's very tight. These make a hard 90. The roof lights and the door jambs on that side do that. And we also are working on popping out this big harness plug down here. So I'm going to show y'all. We're going to walk around here. So this little bezel is the inner one. It just pops right off. And then these right here have squeeze tabs on the side of each one, and they lock into the metal firewall. So you'll squeeze them and you can push them back, and they'll all go back usually and stay on the inner bezel where we can pop them all back in later. So we're going to get that kicked out, and that should be all the wiring loose, and that's all going to come with us when we move to the other truck, which is right there. Tristan's working on all the under the hood wiring we got going. As soon as he gets done with that, we'll start chasing our tail on this other stuff.
Alright guys, so this time at work we've come across another interesting conundrum. This here 42 pin connector, the nut is stripped out in the plastic, not allowing us to back it off. So we're gonna go through the whole rigmarole and try to come up with a solution for y'all. This ain't the best problem, so we'll try to come up with some sort of solution here.
All right, guys, Tristan's gonna show you. We found on the back side, we undid the loom, and on the back side, engine side of this 42 pin plug, we found a Ford emblem. Looks to be the center, so we're gonna drill some holes in there, and we're trying to get to the center of the nut where we can attack from the back some kind of way. So that's our working theory right now. So if we mess it up, we mess it up, but the bolt, the 10 mil bolt, just keeps spinning, and I think what happened is some jackass went and over tightened it, and when they did, they broke the metal nut loose from the plastic, and the metal nut's usually just like knurled, and the plastic is pushed around it. So once you strip that, so we're gonna see if we can get access to the back of it, and you know, hell, a left-handed bit or a tap or something.
Alright guys, so all we really did, I drilled like a 5/32 inch hole behind these wires directly in the middle, and was able to get between the plastic and the nut with a little screwdriver, a little flathead. And as you can see, we're actually making progress now. It's
Is it?
it's maybe not anymore. It moved a little bit. All right.
You would see it open in here.
Yeah. I got it.
All right, well, we still stripped. We'll come back to you when we get some progress. All right, guys, we had to call an audible on this one. This is the old rolled over truck that we just put the black cab on, and we ran into some issues and decided to go a little different direction. So we had this carcass right here. It's got a twisted frame and some other stuff. The cab had all power windows and doors and locks and all that stuff, which the black cab had as well. But this truck was all manual, so we would have had to take all the manual window regulators out the doors, all the black truck's power window regulators out the doors, and or find a harness to put in the black truck that had power stuff. And so anyway, we went through the boneyard and dug around, and we figured the best use of our parts was to pull this cab, which has power everything, and put it in. Now this cab's a little rough, so we're trading mechanic and electrical work for cosmetic and cleanup. As you can see, not a shit was given about keeping this old girl clean. We do have this customized electrical tape right here. This, steering wheel airbag cover decoration. But we pulled the seats out of here to clean it up, and we got a few other little things going on. We're going to yank this carpet out and probably go in with a rubber mat. But this does have power, doors, and everything, so the harnesses are going to mesh up, and we'll be able to more adequately use the boneyard trucks that we have as we start converting some. So this truck was named after one of the cats that liked this truck, so it's called the Pookie Truck Cab. And if you hear us talking about that, you'll know what that came from. So we got Tristan in here buttoning this thing up this morning. We got the inner fender out. We got our bank of 4 plugs right here going to the back of the truck for the tank and speed and all that, and transmission. We got a couple of Hydro Boost lines that have to go in. We're gonna kind of loom up or do something with this harness. Again, this truck had as they all do, the ones I get anyway, have a fair amount of butchery going on. So we got this going on. Let me walk around here without tripping over something. And we're doing the electrical over here. You know, we basically took the battery and all the engine stuff and folded it onto the engine to lift the cab. So he's got the compressor back on. We got the wiring has to go to the solenoid. So we're just basically buttoning it up. Not really doing a how-to just yet on these cabs. We're kind of formulating a list, and maybe on the next one we'll put it out, or maybe I'll type up a list and put it at the end of this video. So we're just kind of buttoning up loose wires. We got to hook up radiator hoses, fan belts, and whatnot. So it's just plug and play, kind of boring. So we may or may not get some footage of that, but we'll come back to this truck pretty soon, and we'll give you an update when we get there.